Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Esteban Hour. This is breaking news. Donald J. Trump, the 45th President of the United States of America, has been formally arraigned. He's been arrested and arraigned. 34 counts. 34 counts. Let's get into this. This is a crazy day in the history of the United States. First, let's bring in our commentator, Mr. Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Today was a good day. Beautiful weather. Donald Trump got arrested. I mean, what else could you ask for?
All right, don't get too happy now.
sorry. Oh,
So,
I think a lot of people are waiting for this day, man.
I
I
mean,
don't know about
definitely.
you. Hey, let's admit it. Like Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene thought they were going to get this rock star reception, and people were going to walk down the streets with them. And New York City, like I said earlier, I will give New York City credit. Y'all stood up and said, "We're not having it here in this city." And just, oh my God, watching them run like Marjorie Taylor Greene run. Like, let's admit it. The only reason Marjorie Taylor Greene's all up Donald's ass is because she thinks she could be vice president. That's the only reason because her career's over. I think. I don't think she's.
You think so? She was voted
Honestly,
in for the second time.
I know, but after this term and all the craziness, like she's let her crazy shine. She's wearing that. She's flying her crazy flag, man. She's loving it, and I
Well,
think people are
listen,
starting to take notice.
she showed up, and New Yorkers were not having it. I
Oh,
believe she got in about 10 minutes um, of speaking through the bullhorn, and they were not having it. The New York City police had to escort her away, and
oh,
also George Santos showed up as well. He said he was there, not defending, but sticking up for Trump, and that's why he was there. I mean, who cared? But
right.
he as well, the heckling with him and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and they had to leave.
I mean, let's be honest. They were there to stir stuff up. That's the only reason she went there. She was trying to instigate, have another January 6th happen, and the exact opposite happened. You know what I mean? It's the only reason she went
Right.
there. She wants to instigate and continue with this lie.
But it was proven New York is not the right place to do that. They'll let you
Actually,
know.
I think that's a good. New York today showed me that this country will never allow oppression to overcome freedom. I think well, you said in one of your videos a while back that I watched that this next election, democracy is literally on the table.
Right.
I mean, it's not even
Absolutely.
party against party. You're literally talking freedom or oppression. You pick one.
Yes.
Which one do you want?
Yes. And
And
that's what democracy on the table means. It's not about left or right anymore. It's basically your rights, freedom for your rights, whatever those rights may be, and equality for all. That's what's on the table. But you're
I think
absolutely
that's
correct.
and that's what I see. See, I see things a lot differently than everybody. That's probably why I never fit into society. But I saw today people standing up despite their differences to overcome an adversary that threatened democracy and our way of life. That's what I saw. I mean, all New Yorkers. I mean, New York's probably the most or one of the most diverse cities in the world. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it wasn't just white people or just black people. It was all people in New York coming
Yes.
together. And that's what we need right now. That's what I saw. New York should be a jumping like today should be a jumping off point to
And
build something better.
I will say it was pretty peaceful. There was a large crowd, and I would believe on from both sides. But the mayor had to summon somewhere around 36,000 of New York City's police officers to be on call today.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of think that that's I don't want to use the word unnecessary, but it's ridiculous for a
Same.
a former president, you
Hmm.
have to summon 36,000 police officers to ensure law and order.
I know,
Crazy.
right? But that's the problem because of Donald Trump. Now there are apparently two different versions of Law and Order. There's the
Yeah,
actual Law and Order, and then there's
insane.
Donald Trump and MAGA's distorted version of Law and Order. It's
Right.
like how Lauren Boebert picks and chooses little things out of the Bible and tells everybody that she's this great Christian, but then when it says that kids born out of wedlock go to hell, like she doesn't worry about that.
Well, she actually said, let's not nitpick on what
Okay,
we're going to take out of the Bible. But isn't
yeah,
that what she does?
she does, and that's what a lot of people do. When it comes to Christian nationalists, they don't
Yeah.
believe in the Bible like they're supposed to. Like, you know what I mean? I know a lot of people out there that are good people, Christians, no problem. But when you start weaponizing these
Right.
things and using it against other people, then it's not a
That's right.
religion anymore. Now it's a weapon.
Now, I consider myself a Christian, and when it says do not steal, don't steal. It doesn't
Right.
say you can steal if it's a Democrat.
Right. Right. So I think we're going to enter in because of Donald Trump and because we're just scratching the surface. Okay. 34 counts on the first case. I mean, the other cases he has are way more important and more detrimental to his freedom than this case is, even though he could potentially get jail time. But he's got a lot of worry about this year, man. And
Mhm.
he's already nervous breakdown on case one.
Do
He's
you think that
freaking
he
out.
should have been charged with much more, many other counts?
No. I watched the legal breakdown on the Midas Touch Network, and man, they went through that indictment piece by piece, and they explained it thoroughly.
Right.
And like Alvin Bragg said, like these cases, this is like you said, this is unheard of. This is unprecedented. So they're not going to bring a half put together case against the next president. These cases, they took their time. They waited till the
Hmm.
last possible minute and they're putting all the pieces together before they even talk about charging him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the amount of evidence against him, I mean, his whole "I didn't do it" defense, I can't imagine that going over too well in his coming trials. But
I
I
mean,
mean, hey,
I do wonder what his defense would be because a lot of his options he's already done with.
yeah, I mean,
I
he's
mean,
exhausted
what
all
else?
the.
I mean, we're talking about Trump here, so he always seems to find something else to pull out of his hat. But I do
Mhm.
wonder what else is in that hat.
I think he's out of tricks. I think his hat is empty. He's reaching for a rabbit, and the rabbit left. There's nothing in there.
Take a
I mean, because
look
his
at
his tactic was delay, delay, delay. He wanted all these cases to delay until after he got in the presidency. Then he could just pardon himself. That's what he was hoping, that he could just win president, and then he would just put policies in place and just get rid of it.
right,
But
right.
everybody's, I don't. Every case is gonna, and between this year and next year, he's gonna be busy, and it's not gonna be doing election funding and all that stuff. Like,
We're showing a picture at the moment of Donald Trump's face of what he looked like going into the jail. He's got a frown on his face. It's absolutely comical. You've never seen him with this frown on his face ever. Ever. Ever.
perfect.
Ever.
I got a
Ever.
picture of him on sitting getting around, sitting with his lawyers at the table. He does not look happy. He actually just kind of looks like
Yeah.
he looked defeated. Like when he got out, I watched him get out of his vehicle and throw up a wave, and you could tell by the look on his face. He thought he was going to have people all up and down the street screaming his name, and there
He
was
did.
nobody there.
He did.
I mean, it
He
was a
did. But
very
today's crowd was a pretty decent crowd. You
was it?
couldn't really tell from TV how many was from one side and how many was from the other, but it was a decent crowd. And the good
I'm
thing
just glad.
is that they remained peaceful. Although I think they only remained peaceful because they had a million officers in their face.
Mhm. And that's a shame that the New York PD or NYPD had to be on call like that just because of,
Yeah,
and it's all because of the trash talk from Donald Trump. All the
yeah,
stuff he says on his website. I'm going to cause
yeah.
violence and destruction and death and all this stuff.
And then he has the nerve to say that his case has been publicized, that he's not going to get a fair trial because of the leaks and everything. But the leaks have been primarily coming from him.
Yeah. He's yeah. Like I said, I think he's out of tricks. I don't think he's got anything left in him. I think honestly, because this is going to create such a division within the Republican Party. This could be the downfall of the Republican Party too. Today could be a monumental day, not just for Trump going to jail, but for the rest of the country, the uniting of the rest of the people. A lot of times people coming together, you need a lightning rod in order for people to come together. A lot of times it's hard to bring people together just for the sake of bringing them together.
Well,
So
what
I'm
I
hoping
hope
today's that.
I hope that today is the downfall of the Trump MAGA conspiratorial lying effect. Not necessarily the Republicans, because we are a democracy. We do need a two-party system, both the Republicans and the Democrats together, but bipartisanship, peace, not lies, conspiracies, and all the things that we've been witnessing over the last several years.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're just wasting taxpayer money. They're doing investigations that lead nowhere. They're not proposing bills that help the average American citizen. You know what I mean? They're proposing bills that help the filthy rich. Yeah, I think again we probably gonna have to endure this until the next election. But I think this is going to be an example of why you don't just vote for a party, why you vote for what they stand for.
Right.
A lot of people, they've been voting Democrat or Republican their whole lives. So you can't even talk them out of it. But I'm hoping this is, again, a way of people saying, maybe I should start paying attention to what's going on. Because a lot of people don't. They just let people assume everything's okay.
Yeah, no, we all should. Not only start but continue to pay attention with what's going on. Speaking of paying attention, how do you feel about the outrage that has been brought forth from the Republicans in regards to this case, that they're calling it political? They're saying that this case is being brought only because Donald Trump is running for office again. But there hasn't been any outrage towards anything else that he's done, from the lying, from the inappropriate behavior with Stormy Daniels and the McDonald
Karen McDougal.
McDougal, excuse me. Thank you.
It's hard to trick all his women.
And the bribery, phone calls, and everything else. It's a long list, but you don't hear any outrage in regards to these behaviors.
You don't.
But you've heard it loud and clear for the past week in regards to being indicted. It's incredible.
After Donald Trump, I think it was after he got to New York, I think he posted a video. He was asking for money again, but he wasn't even saying what the money was for. Like, there wasn't even a pitch. It was just like, if you're doing okay because of the good policies under the Trump, donate X amount, whatever. And it's not for the campaign. Apparently, it's not for legal. It's just for Trump. He's living off the money.
Is it true that some of the money that he grifted from last year, he had like gold seatbelts installed in his plane? Is that true?
Yes, he remodeled his 757 and then posted it online, bragging about 24 karat gold seatbelt buckles. That is what their donations went towards. 24 karat gold seatbelt buckles and
so then
pictures and stuff.
So
man.
You just answered your question. You said that he's been fundraising, but he's not telling anybody what it's about. That's why.
I mean, it's obvious, but they don't even. It's like they don't care. we're going to have Trump supporters, I think, until after Trump is dead. They'll probably support his crazy ass kids after he's gone. You know what I mean? I'm sure they'll
Listen,
stick around or whatever, but
we all think it's crazy, but to each their own. If
yeah.
that's what they want to spend their money on, go for it. I
Hey, if you
will
don't donate,
never spend my
hey,
money on a grifter.
you want to donate, you want to help somebody out, like, hello. Single dad, Pennsylvania ain't making nothing right now. Come on. But that's what I mean. That's why, like that one, I made a video on my Instagram account, and it was all about that $250 million that he has grifted. Like, to me, that is a screaming giant red flag. Like, $250 million. The people are starving on the streets, but instead, MAGA supporters would rather donate money to a failure of a politician, a failure of a businessman, somebody whose business has been convicted of fraud,
Hmm.
after the taxes came out, after the Fox News information came out. Like, it's like they're gamblers. They're at the casino and they keep busting on blackjack, and then they just bet twice as much the next hand. Oh, taxes, damn it. All right, next hand.
Right.
Oh, indictment. Oh, next hand. Arrest. Oh, and they
I
keep doing
totally,
it.
I totally understand your dismay, but again, if that's where they want to spend their money at, so be it. So be
They're
it.
gonna. I mean, I don't know what those people are gonna do, because I know a lot of people gave all their money. People mortgaged their houses to donate to him. Like,
Wow.
what if he ends up in jail? Those people lost all that. They're gonna. I mean, I'd say I feel bad, but we've been trying to tell them for how long now to stop doing this, and they still do it. So, I mean, you're right. To each their own, and if
To
that's what
each
they want
their
to spend
own.
their money on.
To each their own. How do you think his kids are handling this?
Well, I'm pretty sure Don Jr. is high as hell. Ivanka's probably hiding somewhere. And what is that? I mean, can I ask while we're on the show, what is up with Donald Jr.'s teeth? They're glow in the dark. Nobody's teeth are that white. Like, that light behind you, that's like what his teeth look like.
Stop hating.
I can't. I can't. I can't afford teeth that good. I mean, damn.
I don't
But
know
no, I think
nothing
it's,
about his teeth.
I mean, I think over the next couple of years, we're going to see so much truth coming out. And those kids were involved in everything in the White House. They were involved with all the document stuff. It's not like they knew everything. They knew
Well,
everything.
you know what Donald Jr. tweeted today? He tweeted a picture of the presiding judge's daughter
Oh,
today, stating that she worked on the Biden Harris campaign. When I
mm-hmm.
saw that, I was in awe. I mean, why be in awe anymore over what you read and see these days? But
I, it,
I don't understand how this is legal. If I was arrested or in trouble with the law and I made any remark towards fear, intimidation, or threat to the judge or the prosecutor, there would be police officers at my door
all
immediately.
right.
How do these folks continue to do this, calling out the judges, calling the prosecutor an animal, and nothing is happening? Now, putting the picture of this judge's innocent daughter, who has nothing to do
Mm-hmm.
with this case, on blast.
This is what happens when people abuse and hide behind the First Amendment and don't fully understand the First Amendment. Okay. Yes, the First Amendment covers a wider range of speech, even hate speech. However, once your speech becomes threats to someone's safety or you start sharing their personal information, that's
Mhm.
not protected under the First Amendment.
And
You're
that's what I
threatening somebody
thought.
else's safety. And I don't care if
That's what I
anybody can hate
thought.
on me all they want, because I get a lot of smack for saying this. Not everything you say is protected under the First Amendment. Threats are not protected under the First Amendment.
That's what
But
I thought.
the people have distorted and misinterpreted the words using their own bias. You know what I mean? So they think, yes, it's covered. I mean, it does cover a wide range of things, because there's been cases all over the years about the First Amendment, what is covered, what's not. So it is a large kind of gray area. But
Hmm.
you cannot start threatening people. You cannot start, disclosing information about someone just because you can. I mean, you can't hide behind the First Amendment for that. That's cowardice to me.
I
That
mean,
is
the
a
two
punk move.
things that Republicans talk about, they talk about law and order. That does not fit under the title of law and order. And just recently seeing an interview by Marjorie Taylor Greene, she was blasting that Democrats are trying to take away democracy, which is
Yeah,
laughable, completely laughable. But let's just go by what she said. How is this democratic with what they're doing?
and it's not. She called all Democrats pedophiles.
She did.
All, not some, not like a couple, but no,
All.
all,
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. And speaking of,
And
of all, because I saw that today, at the same time, while she's calling all Democrats pedophiles, I'm reading an article about the most recent Republican who's been brought up on pedophile charges.
yeah, there was
I
the
forgot his
one guy that
name.
just fell into that thirst trap on it was either TikTok or Instagram. He was like trying to make laws, and I forget his name too, but he was trying to introduce laws about anti-LGBTQ.
Hmm.
And he come to find out he's been messaging some guy on Facebook or Instagram or something like that. But you're right, and they're projecting. A lot of these guys are projecting.
It's really bad. It's I don't know what to say.
I
I don't know what
think
to say.
a lot of them are project like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think she projects a lot of the hate for herself onto other people.
That could be true. That could be true.
I mean,
A definite sense of whatever they're projecting, that they're doing, they're flipping it and saying no, it's the Democrats that are doing that.
I know that's it. That's the greatest. Everything they say they're not doing, they're doing, and everything they're saying the Democrats are doing, the Democrats aren't doing.
Right.
And I
But now
don't
the question
understand.
is, um, when are the Democrats going to do something about that? The message. They're pretty good in getting out what we're not doing. Why
Hmm.
are we not just as good getting out what they are doing?
Yeah, it would be nice if we could focus on the positives of the world right now, but I think we got to get through a lot of BS before we get there. There's a lot. We got a
And
lot of work
not
to do as a
and
country.
not only that, there are some folks that don't want us to get to that positive moment.
Now, people are still obsessed with this survivalist, civil war, end of the world. You know what I mean? People are this Netflix mentality, I call it. You know what I mean? People, it's not a movie. This is reality. Okay, there's approximately 350 million people in this country that rely on all of us to kind of get along. Because one decision, especially when it comes to corporations and the super rich, one of their decisions could affect millions of people, whereas my decisions pretty much just affect myself.
Right.
So, but getting those people from the top to realize that we're not just their income, that we are actually people, that we need them to do the right thing. Maybe it's a fantasy world I think about, but I think we could turn into something great as a result of all this negativity. I think this is a jumping off point for us to do something special.
I'm always the optimistic type of person, and so I will take that bet with you. At least I hope so.
I
Um, yeah, go ahead.
One last thing, I think we should be starting the next civil rights movement in America, but this time it's about equality for everybody.
Amen, brother.
Let's do it.
Amen. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so that was the breaking news for today. Um, One other thing that I wanted to share my disgust with is it's been Trump TV for the last 3 days. Um, Disgusted, disgusted, disgusted. The media, in one hand, complains that we don't get that we do get enough of Trump, and on the other hand, they're following his ass. I don't understand why we needed to see him brush his teeth, fix his face, get in the car, go get gas, buy a bag of chips, board the plane.
Right?
I don't understand why we needed step by step all the way to the jail cell. Why you couldn't just breaking news, he's at the jail cell.
Yeah,
And
it was
that's it.
literally. Yeah, but I
too-
mean, well, you gotta
too
think
much.
this is a historic moment. It's a sad and great moment at the same time. It's sad because we have to go through this as Americans, and the division in America is terrible right now.
Yeah.
But it's also a great day that somebody who has been abusing the American way of life for 74, 75 years, whatever old that fart is. It's good to see justice and the law working
Yeah.
for somebody other than the rich. You know, I mean, the law has to apply to everybody equally,
Right.
or there's no point in having
And
law.
I'm with you on that. And I think that's one of the main points that today brought out. Not just people are happy of the outcome, but the government definitely kept the point that no man is above the law, and that
Nor should they
includes
be.
the President of the United States.
That's right.
Amen to that. Thank you, brother, for coming
Thank you.
on.
No problem.
That will be a wrap, and look forward to speaking to you soon.
Yeah, I never have anything to say at the end.
Well, you just did. All right.
Yeah,
Take it easy.
mess that one up later.
We'll talk soon. Take care, guys.
Bye.